What is the number one thing that stops most people from scaling their business or investment?
Joe, my man, how you doing this beautiful Thursday evening? We are back for another SEC Powers Hour. You got to be as fired up as I am.
Man, I'm always fired up. I was just actually looking down at my phone, sharing all the new live stream opportunities that we are sharing on all the social medias. I was making sure that my clan, gets in to watch a little action too.
I love it. I love it when they come on over. Everybody is welcome over here. The water is fine, so y'all can come on in. It's all good. Joe, there was a lot going on this last weekend inside the conference. Of course, my dogs had a big win. There was some upsets going on. There's a bunch of other stuff. I don't know. How did you walk away from the weekend? What was your overall feeling about the football that we saw this last weekend?
Well, I felt good, really. I really did. Felt good about it. There were some things that happened that I was really excited about, felt good about. We'll talk about some of those as we go through the show here. And, of course, That Dogs game was something of a Munson classic, as I told you it would be.
Yes, sir. You sure did. You pegged it, buddy.
Sure did. And my boy Gunner did exactly what I told you Gunner would do. Go out there and cut it loose. And, man, what a game. He proved to everybody, if you needed it still, that he is indeed a gamer and a winner, and the boy just flat knows how to do it when he needs to do it. That's all there is to it.
Joe, the chat is already fired up. They are fired up over here. Enrique, you can tell Enrique watches the show regular because he comes straight off the hip. He's like, tell me about Notre Dame. Don't worry, man.
Yeah.
Don't you worry. We're getting there. We are getting there. We're going to address Notre Dame. We're going to address everything else. But like we always do, we're going to start with the news of the week. Joe, the SEC news, there's nothing bigger than what came out today. Today, my man Brett McMurphy, if you don't follow him, give him a follow over on the socials because there's nobody better. There's nobody better at getting it right. Brett is an old school journalism, enough of me in him and vice versa, to where he's not going to come at you just to be the fastest because you can be wrong. It's more important to get it right. And that's what Brett does. So today, Brett hit up the old X machine and said Tuesday is when the SEC is going to announce their permanent 3 rivals as they move to the new 9-game schedule in 2026. Now, this is not news, but the fact that they're going to release it this week coming, that is news, right? Because we didn't have a date. So here we go. There's been a whole lot of talk about who it's going to be and all that kind of stuff. And I figured no better way to get us into the discussion than to look at Georgia. Now, I am of the opinion that there is no debate. Florida, and before I even get into this, keep in mind when they set these 3 teams up, there's a couple of different things that they're going to keep in mind. They're going to try to preserve as many traditional rivalries as possible. And that may not always happen, but they're really going to try. And they're going to try to balance it. So I opened this up to my community a couple of weeks ago when this was really a hot and heavy topic. And people were coming into my comments and they're like, it has to be Alabama for that 3rd team, or it has to be Texas, and I saw everybody from LSU to Oklahoma to Tennessee, right? Everybody's just putting in games they want to see. And I'm here for it. I am all about it. I want the best games all the time. But think about it from the perspective of you're trying to make the college football playoff. You are trying to get through the season, relatively healthy, so you'll have a shot to make it to the college football playoff. And if you're going to have to schedule, and this was part of the deal too, you have to schedule a Power 4 opponent every year out of conference. So Georgia already has that with Georgia Tech, right? So Florida already has Florida State, but there are some of these schools that are going to have to make sure they get that done. So I understand wanting all the good games, but you also don't want like a death march every year. You want to have a chance to win some games, right? I mean, that's just the way it is. And this league is crazy tough as it is. So keep that in mind. The other thing I want to point out before we head into it is, right, they say who are your permanent teams, not your permanent rivals. These games are not necessarily going to be rivalry games. Georgia is a little bit different because Florida, absolutely rivalry. Auburn, Georgia and Auburn were the acorn of the SEC. That was the first game played between two schools that were going to eventually be the SEC. So you have to play Auburn. So in my mind, it's Florida, Auburn, and then we can decide. Now, there are other schools who don't have that many rivalries, but it seems like everybody wants to be Georgia's rival, right? South Carolina, Tennessee, so on and so forth. When it comes to Georgia, and again, just keep that in mind, it's important to remember they're not rivals for all these schools. It's not your top three rivals. It's your permanent three opponents. And they'll try to put rivals in there when they can. Okay, so now that we got all the instructions out of the way, when it comes to Georgia, for me, there are three possibilities for who it could be. And I don't think I'm that different from most people who've actually looked at it for a minute. I think for Georgia, it is Florida, Auburn, no question. And then you move ahead with Kentucky, South Carolina, or Tennessee. Now, if you look traditionally, Tennessee is not a rival of Georgia. They played a lot when the league split into divisions because they were both in the East. But traditionally speaking, that's not a rivalry game. When you look at South Carolina, boy, they want it to be a rivalry game because they don't really have a natural rival built into the conference. So they really, really want Georgia. But that could be Tennessee, maybe for them, right? So, or maybe Florida. So they could get there that way. And then you have Kentucky. And here's the sneaky part, Joe. Georgia and Kentucky have played a lot and a lot of games in a row. So my betting money is on Kentucky to be Georgia's third permanent game. And a lot of the Georgia people love that trip to Lexington in October. They want the game to be in October. Let them go up, see a little bit of the foliage, let them see a little bit of the bluegrass, go check out the ponies, hit some bourbon, whatever it is, right? What's that food they get up there? I think it's called a horseshoe, maybe is what it's called. It's
there's food?
Yeah, it's a great trip. It's a great trip for the Georgia people. I think that kind of solidifies it. That in the history, I think means you're going to get Florida, Auburn, Kentucky for Georgia's three teams. Now, I kind of covered Georgia there, so I'll open it up to you. If you want to give me who you think it should be for Georgia, great. But I'd just love to hear your thoughts on what that's going to look like for teams across the league.
Well, you know, I sat here and talked about South Carolina last week or a week or two, whenever it was we were having this discussion. And I still think South Carolina is legitimately in the conversation. But I believe I said then as well, Kentucky would be my solid number two. And I think that I like the Kentucky trip. I do. I think going up there is awesome.
I have to make that trip. Full disclosure, I've got to make that trip.
I enjoy Kentucky. You know, I went to school in South Carolina, so I spent a lot of time over there at the South Carolina campus. I did not go to South Carolina. I went to Newberry, played baseball there. But spent a lot of time in South Carolina because it was only 30 minutes away. So we had a lot of time playing over there. And it's a great environment. And I think that there will be a lot of push for that to be the number three game. I really do. But,
South Carolina? Yeah,
South Carolina to be the number three. But I kind of have to agree with the fact that for everything that makes up decisions today, when it talks about, you know, fan base and the feels of the game that aren't necessarily the game itself, I think Kentucky wins that hands down. So I think that there will be a lot of value placed on that in the decision making process.
And it's what's really going to be interesting is when you look at some of those teams that were in the old West, like you look at Alabama. Herb and Raj aren't in here right now, I don't think, but like when I look at Alabama, clearly they're going to play Auburn. But Georgia and Alabama is not a traditional rival. That's a game that, you're going to see the other teams in the league every couple of years anyway. So like on the regular season schedule with a rotation. So I don't think Alabama needs to be there. But when you look at Alabama, who is their three, right? You have Auburn for sure. They haven't, is it going to be LSU? Probably. A lot of people say Mississippi. Oklahoma really wants it. I'm just not sure because they're going to play Tennessee too. So Auburn and Tennessee, they've got locked up. So who's that third one going to be? LSU, Oklahoma, Mississippi? I'm not sure. There are a lot of teams out there that really do have they're kind of like Georgia because there are just so many teams that think they want to be rivals, but
I like what a girl 225 girl said in the chat. So it'd be hard to smack talk Kentucky fans, mainly because it's hard to find any.
I hear you, 225 girl, but now I have we do have a new friend of the channel here. We do have a new friend of the channel, Kentucky Football Nation, KFN. You can go check them out if you really just want to hear about Kentucky football. That's a good place to go. Who knows? We might actually do a crossover or something before Kentucky comes into town here. I might go be on their show or something like that. You never know. Maybe he'll come on here with me and Joe. We'll see. We'll see. It all depends on schedules.
But it would be hard to not see that Tennessee game every year too.
You think so?
It would be hard not to see that.
I can remember, Joe, being in the back seat of the car when we were little. I had to be like 6 or 8. So we're talking like 1984. Like it was in the early 80s. Yeah. And could have been 82. I don't know. We were road tripping somewhere and it was a Saturday and Georgia was playing Tennessee. And I just remember listening to it on the radio. And just thinking to myself, even at that age, at that time, I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, Tennessee, like Georgia, Tennessee, they must play every year. I didn't know nothing about nothing. I was just a little kid who liked football. But I just remember listening to Georgia, Tennessee on the radio. So, Kentucky traditionally is not a great football program. Tennessee clearly has great history. You can make an argument, like you said about South Carolina, but at the end of the day, it's a hard job. I'll say that for the SEC to try to kind of pull all this together, but what's really going to be weird is like teams like Missouri, right? If they're going to stay in the conference, who are you going to pair them with? Like Oklahoma and Tennessee or Oklahoma and Kentucky? Like, I'm not sure what they're Arkansas, maybe, get some old Big 8 like flavor going. It'll be interesting to see what they do. But anyway, 9-game schedule coming Tuesday. I'm certain I will do something, and we might address it on the podcast on Wednesday. I might do a separate video. Joe and I'll talk about it next week once we get the list in front of us. But that's enough for tonight. I just kind of wanted to touch the topic and let y'all know what's coming. We'll see that next Tuesday. Joe, moving on, the talk of the week, I think it has to be the SEC quarterbacks, man. Mm-hmm. Think back to what we saw prior to the year. You had a select group, Nussmeier, you had like Lenore Sellers, you had DJ Lagway. There was a lot of talk about who's the best quarterback in the league. Not just in the league, some of these dudes were being talked about as being the best quarterback in the country. Fast forward 3 or 4 weeks, here we are, and everything is upside down. You see the poster. Ty Simpson's been lighting it up at Alabama. People didn't know what he was going to do. Marcel Reed just got a big win over the weekend. He's making Aggie people believe. Everybody all of a sudden seems to think Gunnar Stockton's a Heisman candidate. People don't know. We didn't know what was going to happen, and we're going to get into these games a little bit more as we go here. But what is your idea about the state of quarterback play in the conference right now? It's kind of crazy. And my boy, baby Diego is not even on here. Pavia's not even on the screen, and they're undefeated. So, Bo Pribula out of Missouri. I could go on. This thing's topsy-turvy.
Yeah, I got 2 quarterbacks there at Ole Miss now, as well.
Yeah.
Got a freshman out there playing. Like, where'd this guy come from? And
Exactly.
just whatever. But I don't know, man. The SEC, the quarterback play is good, and I'm just proud to see it. I love to see the ability of the SEC quarterbacks to be able to run and throw. You're starting to see, a better mix of that, like with Stockton and there at Alabama and Texas A&M. All these guys that can do it, and that's just exciting to see because it's not. I won't call them Michael Vick, because it's not that style. They're not that style. And they're more like what we saw in Athens with, our 2-time champion winner, 2-time national champion quarterback that was a bench player for so long because they didn't think he had the skill set. But you just got those guys that just have moxie, man. You just got folks that got the moxie. They know how to go play. And those are the guys that I'm glad to see are making their way back into the quarterback position versus the elites, stand in the pocket thrower or the guy that's only got the, I just, enough of that hoity-toity crap. I'm glad to see they're putting some quarterbacks up there that really just want to go play the game.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. And it's just a nightmare for dudes like me, though. Defensive-minded guys, when you've got a guy that can equally throw it and run it. And it's even worse if the scrambler is not scrambling to run, but scrambling to throw. If you've got that dude, it is awful to defend. So we're going to take a look here and see what's going on. My man Enrique calling me out there. Calling me out. You've been watching Matt. Man, we love Matt Mitchell. My babies, my girls, they love the not football stuff. They love the ranking videos, right? So Matt, he's got a little bit of something for everybody. Matt Mitchell, if you see this video, come on the show. We'll have a great time. Love to see you.
There you go.
Love to see you. All right, but let's get in deeper on this quarterback thing, Joe. We mentioned Lenore Sellers over at South Carolina. Now, unfortunately, he got dinged up last week against Anchor Down, right? Vandy put it on him, and he took a hit.
Shot in the face.
Got a little shaken up. Got a little shake. It happens. It got a little shaken up, and it looks like even before he left the game, like South Carolina is having a hard time finding the end zone. Like they are struggling offensively, which is a little surprising. I thought if they struggled, it would be on the defensive side of the ball, which, by the way, they struggled over there too. But I thought they'd be able to score, and that's just not happening right now with Sellers. And then you look at Lagway, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Joe. 5 interceptions last week against LSU.
Man.
I mean, and it kind of makes sense. Like people kept talking about he's hurt. First it was his calf or his ankle, and then it was something else, and then it was a shoulder, and he just didn't get the offseason work that you needed, and it shows, man. And you got Billy down there. Billy's like, I'm not giving up play calling, man. I'm calling the game. Okay, well, your quarterback is, why are you throwing it 50 times? Why are you throwing it 50 times? You got one of the best running backs in the country, Billy. Why not, like, turn around and hand it off? Like, they were in the game, Joe, and he's like, no, I trust Lagway. Pick. Let me throw it again. Pick. Like,
I don't believe what I just saw. Pick.
Yeah. It was a repeat. Billy, man, I don't know what's happening, but he's just so stubborn. He's like, I'm not giving up play calling. Okay, well, I mean, thoughts, Joe? I mean, it's a mess right now, dude. Sellers is hurt. Lagway is, we suck again, and Napier's cooked. I don't even know.
He is so done. He is so done. It's so funny. I was talking to Jeff Cameron earlier today from FSU.
Name dropper.
Yeah, well, it's at warchant.com. We're doing a piece. If you are listening to our station, you might have heard it. I played it earlier today, but you can check it out on the old YouTube channel. But we were laughing about Napier, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think he gets out of the week. I don't think he gets out of the week. I don't. I mean, he's cooked. He's so done.
We're going to talk about their game this weekend because it's not an easy game. And if it looks as ugly as it looked last week against LSU, you might be right. But that brings us back to the conversation we were having before the season even started. I said, Joe, if they fire him, Lagway's out the door. He's gone. He's not staying. I know he just threw 5 picks. Man, my nose is itchy. I know he just threw 5 picks. Yeah. But I'm just saying, man, like it's like they're going to have to tear the whole thing down at Florida. If they fire him now, not only do they have to pay him, but you got to pay all his staff, and you're going to lose your number one quarterback and probably half your recruiting class. Like, it's going to be real bad at Florida.
It's going to be bad. No, the Gators will not beat the Canes. Yeah, they will not. Reading in the chat there. And Jeremy, absolutely, man. I hang out, chat with you after the show. Just let me know how. But I don't think it's in Florida State. I was asking, Jeff about the Florida State game in Florida, and I was like, "How big is that for you?" And he's like, I mean, and he's like, that goes to tell you something right there.
But now, hold on. This is the same dude that said it's not going to be close, or I'll be surprised if it's close.
Yeah.
When Alabama.
Right.
Now, we still don't know.
That.
Did you ask him? Was he talking about Alabama, or was he talking about Florida
did.
State?
He was like, yeah, man, I should have listened to what I was talking about. It's like, I should have believed what I said. I was right all along, He's like, but I let these other folk get my ear. And he's like, I don't know. But he's like, yeah, I just should have listened to myself. I was right.
Well, let's turn to happier things, Joe. Let's take a look at my Bulldogs. It's now 9 in a row. 9 times they have beaten the Tennessee Volunteers consecutively, Joe.
Ties the record.
That's right. Ties the record in the series. You can see the scores right there. This one went to overtime. Never mind. Our fellas went up there and got the job done. So I am feeling pretty good about the fact that if Tennessee happens to rotate off this thing, we left them with something to remember us by. You know what I mean? I'm loving it.
Yeah, that's pretty funny there. And I don't know, man. I'm really curious to see what happens on Tuesday. I really am. I want to know who that third's going to be.
Yeah.
But it was funny to watch that game Saturday. I just kept smiling, sitting back smiling.
That's good stuff.
Couldn't put them away. Tennessee couldn't get it. Hey, but by the way, if y'all haven't seen it, and I think I shared this with you, Randy, the kicker there for Tennessee, y'all go watch what that young man did after that ball game. He did what you want anybody to do that's been put in a situation like he was in and missed it. That kid didn't duck anybody. He went right out there and was like, look, I know what you want to ask me. The shot didn't go in. I take full responsibility, full credit for that. And if you want to come heckle me, I'll be here first thing, daybreak in the morning, practicing. And I love it. That young man stood up there and took it the way you want to take it. And kudos to him for that. Best thing that came out of that Tennessee game, other than the dub, of course.
He had nothing to hang his head about. I mean, you could tell the moment was real big for him, but he went out and made the exact same kick just a few minutes later. I'm like, he's been good for them.
12 minutes later.
Yeah, and Tennessee they showed they are a quality football team. So they've got a lot to work on, to play for the rest of this year. He shouldn't hang his head. Listen, I'm going to rib them because I can, right? But I'm not going to go chase down Volunteer fans and rub it in their nose. I get it. This thing was real close and it went the way it went, but I'm happy he did that because he shouldn't feel bad about it. It's just part of the game.
And he took, the things he said, the way he talked about it, Enrique, I see there in the post, go check it out. You'll find it. I think I shared it with Randy. Randy, you can reshare it there for people to see, but it was really cool. Y'all go check out and see what that young man did.
All right.
But anyway, I digress.
Yeah, well, now I think we put a bow on the news. We kind of made it around the league. If there's anything forgot, y'all throw it in the chat. We'll touch on it real quick, but I think we kind of got it covered. Let's look at the fallout to what happened. Look at who we got in the AP Top 25. I know the AP is just week after week, people are playing the clown show music around it, right? Because last week you got somebody who's like, I just pick whatever. I don't care. It don't matter. And then this week you've got a winless Notre Dame still ranked in the top 25. So with all that, you can see LSU still in there at number 3. Not so sure about that ranking. Georgia's there at 5. Texas. Then you have A&M, Oklahoma. Ole Miss got a big win this last weekend, Joe, but Arkansas took them to the wire, man. They pushed them. I knew they would. Alabama, they've been rebounding, trying to beat up on a bunch of tomato cans. Tennessee took the loss, but they're still there at 15. Vanderbilt is coming for you, anchor down. Auburn at 22, and Missouri's hanging in there at 23. And if we move across to the rest of the poll, Joe, there's a whole lot here that looks sketchy to me. But the thing everybody wants to talk about, of course, is Notre Dame winless and still ranked. Take this anywhere you want to go, Joe.
I just almost want to throw up. I really do. I mean, of all the things that you see there, how? Somebody tell me how Notre Dame, without a win, not even close. How do you do it? How?
Oh, okay. Well, I'll play devil's advocate. I heard somebody say this today, and I at least listened. And what they're saying is, look at who they played, right? They have played quality teams, and they have not like gone out there and embarrassed themselves. The games have been competitive on the road at Miami, a top 5 school, and then you lose at home, but it's last second by 1 point to a ranked SEC team. They're giving them the benefit of the doubt. I think there's also a little future casting there. I think a lot of teams think they're going to rattle off 10 wins in a row, and at the end of the year, they're going to still be in the conversation for the CFP. I think that should not happen. I don't think it will happen. I think the needle is too small because they still have to have some help. They're not in conference, so they don't have the boost of a conference championship that they can wave around at the end of the year. I don't think ultimately Notre Dame is going to make the playoff this year. Just my 2 cents, but there's a whole lot going on in this AP poll.
Let's just take a look here while we're going to talk about it. Let's just look. Who's up next? Purdue, Boise State, USC.
That game could be tricky for them.
Arkansas.
Come on,
you got
Hogs.
NC State, Boston College. I mean, come on.
I know. But
it is nauseating. It is absurd. It is bullshit is what it is. Somebody call it what it is. It is bullshit. That's all there is to it. Notre Dame is up there because somebody likes Notre Dame that has a lot of money and plays for television. And they say, oh, we got to keep them ranked. I mean, come on. I'm not even upset that Illinois is ranked at number 9. I am upset that Notre Dame is in the top 35.
And the top, oh, wow, that's harsh. But I feel you. I mean, I hear you.
I wouldn't want my with Notre Dame.
Okay, brother. I hear you. I knew you had something to say about it. I know you'll have more to say about it. Hint, that's what you call a tease in the business. But when I look at the top 25, I got to tell you, Joe, I don't care about Penn State until, they're in the Big Ten. So until you go play somebody that has a pulse, I mean, they might be about to start the football season this weekend. I don't remember who they play, or maybe it's next week that they actually start the season. We'll see. So whatever, Ohio State and Penn State, whatever. LSU, I think that's pretty shaky, honestly, because look at Clemson now. They're not ranked. They've taken a couple of losses that went on the road by LSU.
Clemson's not ranked. Notre Dame's ranked.
That's right. LSU, I still think that, that defense is for real, but I'm not sure if it's Nussmeier being hurt or what it is, but LSU's not getting it done. They don't look complete right now. Miami looks pretty complete. So, I'm not like angry at them being up there. That's fine. Oregon's beating everybody 1-0 They'll start the season here soon too. Florida State living off the Alabama win. Texas, Joe, I posted something this week. That one seems real shaky. Texas being in the top 10. It's only because of where they started. That seems real shaky right now. So the AP, I know what it is. We've probably already spent too much time on it, but we have to address it because we don't have the CFP poll yet. So there you go. So let's move this thing along. Let's take a look at this week's games, Joe. Let's start to turn the focus forward. You can see the pitches here from Fox College Football. They seem to think that these 4 games are the ones where we could get an upset that matters. When you look at these games, Auburn, Oklahoma, Florida, Miami, Michigan, Nebraska, Illinois, Indiana, which one of these looks like it might be an upset to you?
Well, I'm going to go with the Nebraska over Michigan game. I'm going to go with Nebraska over Michigan. Why not?
Is it because their head coach is on suspension because Michigan's a bunch of cheating liar cheaters, or is it something else?
No, it's for the same reasons that Michigan would lost their first game on the road. And I didn't pick against them because I was picking against the team they were playing. But absolutely. That's why. I just think that Michigan, why not go to Nebraska and lose? That makes good sense.
The screen's busy, but I had to put this on here. My man Baker Man coming off the top rope with the pig's elbow. Boom. Hey, he ain't wrong, Joe. He ain't wrong.
Oh, he ain't wrong. I don't know enough about Indiana or Illinois, for that matter, to tell you if the Illini would be an upset if they get beat by Indiana. I don't know.
Kurt Cignetti, I think is his name, Joe, at Indiana, the head coach, who said, we're going to schedule like the SEC. And then they went and got rid of all their Power 4 games and put me and you on the schedule. And then what does Sankey do? He rolls out there and says, oh, guess what? The SEC is going to 9 games, and we're going to make sure you schedule a Power 4 opponent. Eat that, Big Ten. That's what Sankey did right there. I love it personally. Sankey's kind of petty like that. He's like low-key professional petty. Like he's going to let you get out there and make a fool of yourself, and then he's going to come at you with some fastball.
That's some passive aggressiveness I can agree with right there.
I'm with you. All right. So if I'm looking at this game, and I'm like, okay, who's going to be the biggest issue? I don't know that Indiana's got enough to beat Illinois. Yeah. I would probably.
My man Doug, by the way. Sorry, I just cut you off like mid-sentence. What I do. My boy Doug in the chat there. Had lunch with him today. What's up, Doug?
Nice.
Illinois, a lot of talent coming back and winning 10 games after bowl. Yeah, okay. You got your points in there, Doug. Thanks for giving me something to talk about because I had
nothing. Man, Brett Bielema. You know who's not a fan of Brett Bielema? Shane Beamer. They almost remember last year in the bowl game, they almost got in a fight because they were doing like timeout, injury timeouts, and he was like, you could lip read, and they were not happy. They were not happy. So that was fun. I think I would look at Auburn, Oklahoma. I'm not calling for the upset here, but I think that one could get a little dicey because I think Auburn. They're coming up. They've got enough going on that they could cause some trouble for Oklahoma's defense. So I love me some John Mateer.
You were all over some. Oh, that's what I was about to say. Mm-hmm. You were all over some sack the other day, man. About some John Mateer. I don't know what's happening here.
Nothing's happening.
Backing up.
No. I'm just saying.
Hard. That's what I'm hearing.
There's no backup beat.
Are you with me? I think I hear the siren. I think you hear the beat.
No. I'm just saying it could be. It could be a problem.
I don't know. You thought you had support from Randy Powers.
Let's look here.
But you don't.
Let's look at the game, Joe. The game that's going to have everybody's attention. It's probably not even going to be a good football game, right? We talked about Florida. We talked about what's happening with them. And Miami look like they're rolling, right? I mean, Beck is doing what I said he would do in the ACC. He looks good. I think he's going to continue to look good. They can play some defense down at Miami. They got great athletes down there on that side of the ball again. Florida just looks like a disheveled mess, and last year's game wasn't competitive. This probably won't be a good game, but it is on the schedule and a game that when we were in high school, like in the early 90s, this was this game was fire, man. You guys, this is good stuff, especially in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. Shoot. But not today. I mean, it's mostly just for colors. I don't know. You got anything you want to say about it?
No, I really don't. I mean, I don't like either one of the teams that are on the screen right there, really. I mean, I have just some affection for Miami because I had a friend in high school that he loved the U, and that's all I ever heard about. Like, you suck. And for that reason, Miami's a good, I don't know. Miami beat them. Now, because I'm a betting man, for all you folks in the chat and everybody watching in, you should realize that I am a betting man. And because this game is so in nobody's mind, like going to be a game, I would go drop $100 and pick Florida. I would.
Enrique's with you. Enrique's with you. He's like, they're going to play the best game of the year. See, Enrique, I would go with you. I would go with you on that, except I said that last week. I said they were going to rise up and play LSU that way and Lagway threw 5 picks. So...
But now he's thrown 5 picks, and now he's going to come out and he's going to be the man. and that's
Well,
what'll happen. So,
we'll see. I'll definitely be watching if that's going on. I'll tune it in. I'm just saying. Now, this is a game that's in the footprint, Joe. This is my favorite ACC game every year. Clemson and Georgia Tech. Love this game. Had to pick it last week. We picked it. You picked Georgia Tech. I think I did too. The Jackets win. Let me hear it. Go ahead. Let me hear it.
I love me some Brent Key. I do. I love him. I think he's a great coach over there. And King, another one of those gamers. He's going to go. He's going to go give his body up. He's going to play for you. And I got Andy Demetra. We talked about earlier. Andy and I'll be talking Tuesday. I was supposed to talk with him today. Had to reschedule, but we're going to be talking about that. Yeah, I love me some Andy Demetra. He's the voice of the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, if you didn't know.
That's right.
And love to get his take on this. We got a lot to talk about. But I knew it. And by the way, how much worse could it be for Klubnik to know that his head coach not only doesn't like him, like it's obvious he doesn't like him, but he takes every opportunity to throw him under the bus at every turn. I was like, oh, this is what it looks like under the bus. This is it. Thanks, coach. How does Dabo Sweeney still have a job at Clemson at the end of the year?
I don't know. I don't know.
Is going to be this team right here. It's the first of what will be a growing trend at Tech. They're going to put themselves back into a point of relevance, and I'm excited to see that Georgia game.
I may have said this last week. If not, I said it the week before. Tech might mess around and be the best team in the ACC this year. That's that from what I've seen, like on the field. And before the year, I had an itch about Georgia Tech. I picked Georgia Tech to win that game in Atlanta at the end of the year. So I'm just saying, Georgia Tech, man, you got a team that fights, and that it's just like Georgia. They take on the personality of your head coach. And when it's that's your alma mater as the head coach, there's even more in there on it, right? Like there's even more that makes you want to go do it. Those dudes play harder. Just like Georgia plays for Kirby, they play for Brent Key. You're exactly right. This game.
Timothy in the chat. Got to run, my friend. Be good, brother. Thanks for hanging out with us.
This game, Georgia and Georgia Tech moving forward is going to be must watch every year. It is anyway. But Georgia fans, I listened to them. They were like, I'm bored with Tech. They don't pose a threat at all. Those days are done, I think. I think it's over for that. I think if the rosters are anywhere close, then this is going to be a competitive game moving forward. And with the state of college football the way it is now, with the transfer portal and NIL and so on, everybody's already closer than they were 3 years ago. And now you put that belief in there, and this is going to be something they're going to have to work on every year if you're a Georgia fan. So just get ready.
You mentioned portal there. You did see the news that broke about the transfer portal, and they're taking that from 2 to 1 opportunities there in the portal. So that is something that, you might have been able to turn the roster quicker. It's going to be a little slower now.
I'm a big fan of what they did. I am right there with Kirby Smart and the philosophy, the way he thinks about it. Play the season. When you crown your champion, open the window, give them 2 weeks. And by that, most of those kids know in December whether they're going to go or not. You open that window, let them do what they're going to do, and then get your team, lock them in, train them up, get ready to go play. You know what I mean? Like I never understood the thing about like after the spring, like let's go through spring, do all this hard work, and then decide to leave. I guess a player whose heart is like, he loves Georgia, but he's torn. His brain says, I have to go play and I can't play at Georgia, but I don't know if I want to go. And then he goes through spring and he's like, yeah, it didn't really go the way I wanted it to. Now I'm going to go. Like, I don't, but that's the thing too, when you're talking about a school like Georgia or say Alabama or maybe even Ohio State, those dudes, like, you kind of know, you know what I mean? Like you know. And so I'm not real sure what waiting 2 months to get in the portal is actually going to do for you. Like, I'm all for it.
Yeah. Love the idea. Just thought since you mentioned portal.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought it up because I had let it matriculate out of there.
I just to put a bow on this game for you, though. I love the fact that Dabo got in his fields and was kicking rocks. I just think that was hysterical after the game. If Clemson's fan base is tired of losing, they could cut me loose. They could let me go. Okay.
Okay, Dabo. Dude, I do not.